ケが戻ってきた瞬間、猫まで大興奮だった。いや冗談じゃない。ダグアウトの空気、観客の熱狂、チーム全体のテンションが一気に変わったんだ。数字以上にヤバいのは、あいつがいる時のドジャースかもしれない。
All right, so we're finally starting to win some games consecutively. Katie, you're there every single day. Dodgers winners of 10 of their last 12. They now have a 2.5 game advantage in the NL West. How did they do it?
Yeah, they did it by playing Dodger baseball. So they come on the road, 10-game road trip, go 7-2, take care of business against the Angels, and then 2 series in which they rally back down in the first game to the Padres and the Brewers. Just a lights out performance by the pitching. Then they come back to LA, a good come from behind victory against the Rockies. They're just doing what we expect them to do. The Dodgers bullpen, I think we collectively probably haven't talked enough about how they have been so good, so successful. I'm sure we'll talk about that later in the show. You pair that with a lights out starting rotation that ranks atop the National League in several categories, and the offense showing signs of life, and all of a sudden the Dodgers look a lot more like we thought they would.
You know, it's a lot more fun when we're doing these kind of shows, guys, where we don't need to, you know, temper not even temper expectations, but talk people off of a ledge. We knew eventually this team would be good. Just every once in a while, you're going to have cold stretches. You're going to have bad streaks where things don't fall their way. Right now, things are falling their way. And when the offense eventually kicks in, you know, as long as you put points on the board, I don't care if it's in the first or the second or the third or in the seventh or whatever it is. As long as they eventually score some runs, you're in a good spot, and that's what this team is doing. And the pitching has been very good. I mean, over the last 2 weeks, I got a team ERA at 2.11. Starting pitching has been really good all season long. 3.23 ERA, 5th in baseball. And as Katie was talking about, that bullpen, that vaunted Dodgers bullpen there is the best in baseball. One Kyle Hurt homer aside, yesterday they have a 2.87 ERA, which is the best in baseball. We on my other show, we grew tired of what they call the trust tree and all that, so we came up with the confidence cactus, because we're idiots. And there's a lot of guys that are on the cactus crew, patent pending, that's trademarked. A lot of guys on that cactus crew that you can trust right now. Everybody, whether it's a Kyle Hurt in there, whether it's Tanner Scott, whether it's Alex Vesia, even Blake Trinan getting some love in there from the confidence cactus. Good, really a good stretch. And it's fun to watch this team win baseball games with starting pitching, because my God, that is the Dodger way.
It is true, though. The Padres have lost 2 in a row, so that's good. Another big story before we welcome in Stephen Nelson of Sportsnet LA and AM 570. The top story, Kike Hernandez making his season debut. He had an immediate impact, you guys. We're talking Kike as today's FanDuel Daily Dinger. So there you have it. He returns to the lineup. He drops 2 hits and an RBI. Oh, by the way, as we expected, Katie, you nailed it. You did as well, Clint. Santiago Espinal, thank you. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by.
I just hate that. I hate the business side of things, because he did everything that the Dodgers could have asked for him. But you love the fact that Kike Hernandez is back. Is that your cat, Katie?
I don't know where she came from. Apparently, she got really excited for Daily Dingers. Like I thought she was. No,
let us meet Veep. Let us meet Veep. Look at that little lady. Oh, hi, Mama. That's Veep. That is Veep Woo.
FanDuel Daily Dingers enthusiasts right here. So,
but I mean, an immediate impact with Kike back in that lineup, paying dividends right away.
Yep. Go for it, Katie.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Dave Roberts said in Milwaukee. And we knew Kike was going to come back. He was way ahead of his schedule with his rehab. But what we didn't know, and Bobby Nardaya of The Athletic, my counterpart, did a great job explaining just how gruesome of an injury he was battling through to help the team win the World Series last year. I mean, it was as Fabian said, woke up with Dr. Neil Elatrosh telling me this was the worst injury I've ever seen of this kind, and I don't know how he played. So, I mean, I think we all know how dedicated Kike Hernandez is to the Los Angeles Dodgers, but this just goes ahead and proves it when you really put into perspective what he battled through to come back here for his final year, or for his final guaranteed year in this contract, I should say, and then go out and have the immediate impact that we knew he would in yesterday's win. That's just the Kike Hernandez experience. And, it really kind of, you hear the walkout song when he takes his at bat, and you just kind of get excited. That's just kind of what Kike does. He gets everyone excited. He's great for morale, and the Dodgers can need him right now, especially with Max Muncy kind of rehabbing from that hit by pitch in Milwaukee on Friday.
Yeah. I really appreciated, Alana, the warm welcome that Kike got last night. The stadium on a Monday, obviously it's a holiday Monday, but a lot of love in there for Kike Hernandez making his return. And we saw some of the video. I'm not going to put it on here because MLB hates when you show video of the game and try to promote the game of Major League Baseball. But we saw the injury that happened just about a year ago today, May 28th. He slides into home plate, kind of has his left elbow bent back in a way that makes me feel that he tore his UCL. I don't think we heard anything exactly about what the injury was, but probably pretty close to a hyperextension, probably pretty close to what we saw with Max Muncy at first base a couple years ago, 2021, to end that season. But before that injury, was not setting the world ablaze, hitting just 226, but off the bench with a 740 OPS, had 7 homers at the time, 17 ribbies in there. But after that injury, Kike just wasn't himself. Hit a $180, OPS just a hair over 500, 8 total extra bases for the rest of the season. We know Kike is good. We know he is an impact player. We know he brings the vibes above replacement through the roof for this team. He's not going to be, by any stretch of the imagination, a top slugger for this team or a top run producer, but he's going to make an impact like we saw, like you said last night, Riz. He's going to make an impact, and that's why he is our FanDuel Daily Dinger pick of the week.
I mean, the thing is about Kike, I don't care. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't care if Kike Hernandez is 0-4 the regular season. I want him to be on the, whether it's the wild card roster, the NL, or start right into the NLDS roster for the postseason, because that is where he shines. That's where he's most effective. And that's why he has made the reputation he has for himself. It's October baseball. It's Geektober baseball. And that's what we love. Great to have him back, though. I love the wins above replacement stat that you said, but it's just a morale above replacement when it comes to Kike Hernandez as well. Having him back in that lineup, in the dugout, being able to contribute, whether it's in the starting lineup or coming off the bench.
Nelly, speaking of the big dogs, hi, how are you, by the way?
What up, Lou?
I was listening to you and EK last night on the broadcast, and we talked a lot about Mookie Betts, who just has pretty much struggled to really find his groove. He's had that oblique injury, of course. And when you look at his average in the OPS, it doesn't look good. But when you look at the numbers, the metrics behind it, especially the things that we use to kind of decipher where a guy is with his approach, the chase rate's great, the strikeout rate's great, the whiff rate's great. When you're looking at these numbers, what does that tell you about where Mookie is right now? And does it give you optimism that he's going to turn it around soon?
I think that, we as objective observers can have optimism about Mookie Betts, but we all know how Mookie Betts is wired. And that, hey, look at the Baseball Savant page, Mook, is only going to last so long for this guy. Because, even when he is hot, 4 for 4, he's like, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever met a superstar athlete who is so hard on himself the way Mookie Betts is. And I think part of that is that's how the great ones are. The great ones are just wired differently. But there are times when I wonder, I'm like, hey, Mook, have you forgotten who you are? Have you forgotten how great you are? And so that's why he's got teammates and coaches and obviously his close circle around him who are there to remind him of that time and again. But all that to say, Katie, that it's getting to the point where Mookie now just needs to see the ball find the fairway again. I will say, he does find joy and positivity and optimism in those little moments, like the sac fly last night, just getting a job done to help the team win. Like, those are the things that will buoy a player, especially for Mookie. But gosh, when you see all that red on his Baseball Savant page, you can't help feel optimistic that it's still coming around. And the last thing I'll say is that if you look at Mookie Betts' tenure as a Dodger, he has not had a normal year to date. When he got traded over, what happened? COVID, pandemic, then the lockout, then it's family stuff, then it's the World Baseball Classic, and then it is back-to-back starting the years overseas, so a different spring there. Then this year, it's a World Baseball Classic, not playing in it again because, again, more family stuff is they welcome another child. So there has not been it's a World Baseball Classic, not playing in it again because, again, more family stuff is they welcome another child. So there has not been a normal runway for Mookie to get a season going. And so he's still kind of in, I would say, that spring training portion, just like Kike is just starting out with coming off the injury. So I'm still very much hoarding all the Mookie Betts stock that I can get.
And the thing, I've talked about this a lot, Nelly, is all that downtime, all the different things, whether it be the sickness or, random little injuries, it's given Mookie a lot of time to tinker. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's bad. He's also getting a little bit older. He's trying to put on some weight right now. I think that could be something that's affecting him a good little bit there. Have you checked in with the mentals on Mookie?
Yeah.
Like, is he feeling good?
So I try to have a feel. So the last time I was around Mookie by the batting cage was the last road trip, and very much from just like the initial vibe check, it was like, today's not a good day. So I'm gonna back up out of here. But apparently, excuse me, he did tell Joe Davis that he's as heavy as he's ever been with the Dodgers, which is encouraging.
Me too.
Yeah. That was good. That was good.
That's my thing.
That's gimmick infringement? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I'll see your ass in court, Riz.
I do think that it's good to see him strong, looking healthy. The bat speed is up. The fast swing rate. Dr. Caducci was going to check on that last night, and then we got sidetracked, so we got to follow up on that. But just to see where things are at, because that was a topic of conversation, last year as well. When he was really fighting to get things going offensively, it's like, his bat speed's down. It's not only that, it's his fast swing rate. All the different data that we have out there. So I think that all things considered, even though the numbers are unsightly relative to Mookie Betts, I still believe that he's in a good spot.
A welcome sight is Kike Hernandez.
Betts, I still believe that he's in a good spot.
A welcome sight is Kike Hernandez taking the field. There's just an energy that abounds when he is back. Paid dividends immediately. What do you like about him being back in that lineup and playing third last night, obviously, because Max Muncy's still dealing with that wrist issue?
Yeah, I think Kike's presence. One, we could talk about the energy. We all know that, but to see him have the results last night in his first game, on the heels of a rehab assignment where he didn't exactly tear the cover off the ball, right? And it's a little different than when a pitcher is on rehab. It's very easy to be like, well, who cares about his numbers? He's maybe trying to work on some specific pitches, yada, yada, yada. For a hitter, I think it's a little different because, your numbers on a rehab assignment are kind of indicative of how you're seeing the baseball. And it wasn't like, you're looking at what he did with the Comets in OKC, and you're like, is he ready? So for him to come back, not just have 2 hits, but hit a hard ball down the pull side, then leg out an infield single, you could definitely tell when our cameras cut to him in the dugout when the Dodgers pinch hit for him that I don't think he was happy about that. But, that's to be expected for a guy who wants to play because he still feels like he's in spring. But I think, Alana, is that now Max can – I think you get an extra day or two. They're facing a left-handed starter today and Kyle Freeland. So it's just another a happy coincidence that the Dodgers can give Muncy another breather and just kind of allow that wrist to heal up a little bit because you don't want him to come back too soon. Even though, Max is tough and could play. He was ready to come into the game last night. I just think that's the best thing for him and the team if he just takes another breather, and then you get Kike some more ABs and a chance to see the baseball some more. So I think it's good for everybody involved.
Nelly, we've talked a lot about this stellar Dodgers bullpen. And about a little over a month ago, I think there was some apprehension when Edwin Diaz went down. Not really sure what that ninth was going to look like. Dave Roberts said we're back to closer by committee. We know how that went for most of last year, and we are not seeing really any signs of that. Talked about how good Tanner Scott has been. Blake Trinan, he's pretty stable. Is there any – Alex Bessia, of course, can't forget him. Is there any one of the newer guys or maybe the less experienced guys that have stood out to you that's really impressed you in this run for the bullpen?
I know he gave up a home run last night, Katie, but Kyle Hurt has ascended quickly in the trust tree for Doc in the bullpen. Which is really encouraging to see. I mean, we heard a lot about Kyle at the stretch run last season, like, hey, Kyle Hurt's coming back off injury. He could be a weapon in the bullpen. Got close, but the team just decided not to push him, essentially. And now this year, since he's been up with the club, it's just been nothing but zeros. And it was just a matter of time before somebody got clipped, and it just happened to be him. I would say Hurt. Edgardo Enriquez, too. I didn't understand that he hadn't given up a hit in this stretch where the bullpen has been dominating. So for Enriquez to kind of build confidence, those are, I'm like, I have a million thoughts at one time, but like, you're thinking about all the veteran relievers that they have who are coming back from injury. Brock Stewart, obviously the closest to return. They're hoping for Evan Phillips in the second half, along with Diaz, whom you mentioned. Now you're looking at some of the young guys with options, right? Because those are the easiest ones to kind of move down to make room. So I love to see those guys kind of play, produce, and build confidence and make it hard for Andrew Friedman and Brandon Gomes and Dave, all the decision makers when it comes time for that bullpen roster crunch. So I would say Hurt and Enriquez. Time for that bullpen roster crunch. So I would say Hurt and Enriquez.
Got good problems to have. One problem that is not, I guess one thing they have is not a problem for the Dodgers. I don't know. I'm just trying to get to Shohei Ohtani here. He has been impressive on the bump, to say the least, this year, Nelly.
Yeah.
7.73 ERA, better than advertised. And do you think that maybe he's not getting enough love? If we can say that Shohei flipping Ohtani is not getting enough love nationally, it feels like his pitching is not getting the respect it deserves. What are your thoughts on Shohei on the bump this year?
I see, Clint. I think I'm starting to sense a little bit of potential Shohei fatigue when I listen to national conversation. Like, it's a very different conversation, and the voting process, I assume, will be when it comes to Cy Young as it relates to, or compared to the MVP, because you're looking at his offensive numbers the last 2 years, and like, gosh, like if he just does anything on the mound, like he's the MVP. Even when he didn't do anything on the mound in 24, his MVP was just that good offensively. But now it's a pitching-specific award. So can you – I'm asking, like, I guess rhetorically to the voting body for the BBWAA, who have Cy Young Award votes, do you elevate his pitching numbers when you add in his offense? Or do you have to specifically look at the pitching numbers and try to block out that he's doing it while playing every day, basically as the designated hitter? I wonder how that is going to be handled. But the fact that he is handling those duties with such dominance and excellence, like he's got to be the leader in the clubhouse right now. Granted, it's not even June yet, so I don't want people to get over their skis down my throat about this. But Christopher Sanchez has been phenomenal. Paul Skeens has kind of left the door open with some help from the Pirates defense. For other candidates to get involved in this race. I saw an interesting nugget this year because Mason Miller is justifiably getting a ton of run and love this year. He has been so dominant, and it's awesome to see. Made Or Hershiser sweat a little bit with that scoreless inning stretch. Bulldog will deny it, but we see right through that, Riz. I think it was Daniel Brim who pointed out that Antonio Senzatella, who's become a weapon for the Rockies in the bullpen this year, has a higher win probability added rate than Mason Miller does this year. So it is kind of interesting. All that to say, and I'm not trying to put down Mason Miller. It is just how the narratives can be twisted and manipulated nationally when it comes to these, league-wide, award conversations. But I mean, for our money, obviously we have eyeballs on him every game. Like what Shohei Ohtani is doing is amazing. And now the last thought, I know I ramble every time I'm with you guys, and I apologize for that. Last thought, I do not want anybody to forget what the guys around Ohtani, specifically Emmett Sheehan, just the last couple of weeks, have done to allow for this, right?
Yeah.
For the Dodgers to maintain the 6-man rotation. Emmett Sheehan switched spots with Ohtani last week to give Shohei an extra day so he could start ahead of the off day. And so Sheehan went on shorter rest for the first time this year, 4 days rest. And obviously it wasn't a great outing for him, gave up a couple home runs. Same thing this week, right? I mean, it was 5 days rest, normal rest, and Sheehan was much better. But that's something that Emmett Sheehan, whose future in the rotation is not set in stone, is doing to allow for this. And I'm not saying that like Shohei himself doesn't acknowledge this, but I just think the casual observers for the Dodgers should also pay attention to that and appreciate what the team is doing forward.
Nelly, what should the casual observer
ここまで見てくれたあなた、本当にありがとう。この動画が少しでも面白かったら、コメントで意見を聞かせてください。そして高評価、シェア、チャンネル登録も忘れずに、次の動画でまた一緒に野球の熱狂を味わいましょう。